Firing chain is armed. Sound suppression water system activated. T-minus 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Go for main engine start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0 and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis, reaching the crest of its historic achievements in space.
Houston, Atlantis is in a roll.
Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Houston is now controlling. The roll maneuver is complete. Atlantis is in a heads-down position on course for a 51.6 degree, 136 by 36 statute mile orbit.
Hello there guys. As you might have guessed, in this video I'm going to be building this 1 to 144th scale space shuttle from Airfix. Now this is quite an old tooling, 1978, but Revell's kits in this scale and in 1/72nd scale are just as old. And indeed Tamiya's 1 to 100th scale space shuttle is of a similar vintage. There are quite a few detail up sets and decals and so on available for this kit, but in this particular case I'm building it out of the box. This Airfix kit has been re-released quite a few times over the years, most recently in 2025. To be honest, I don't think it's worth the 50 quid which it sells for, but I got mine plus the Artemis 2 kit, which of course is a much more recent kit, for £25 each in a sale, so I'm happy. This kit does lack some details given its age, but what is nice is that we can represent any of the 6 shuttles, Enterprise, Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis and Endeavour, and in several cases we can represent them in slightly different markings for slightly different time periods. It is worth noting that Enterprise was a prototype and was never equipped for spaceflight, therefore adding it to the large fuel tank and the SRBs and posing it in flight with the included stand, as far as I'm aware, wouldn't be accurate. The 5 spaceworthy shuttles completed 135 missions between 1981 and 2011, and of course we should remember that 2 of them were lost. Challenger shortly after launch in 1986, and Columbia in 2003, which broke up on re-entry, in both cases killing all 7 crew members. Looking at the kit, one thing I really like about this most recent release is this double-sided box art, with the SRBs just separating here on one side, and the vertical launch image on the other side. Inside the box we have one bag of components, and even looking at the sprues here you get that very old school feel about them. Even the shape of the runners, the sprues, very sort of squared off, and the attachment points much bigger than you'll find on more modern kits. You can see quite a lot of large plastic in here. Obviously 2 halves for each of the SRBs, the solid rocket boosters, some huge parts for the large fuel tank, and then some halves for the shuttle. In this particular release we do get a bag from Airfix including 2 tubes of glue, 2 paintbrushes, and quite a few pots of paint, especially that orange-red paint for the external fuel tank. I won't be using the paints, but the brushes which are included with this type of set are really quite good, and I always keep those. Instructions are as you would expect from Airfix, although a slightly older style, mainly because we don't have sprue letters, so instead all of the parts have simply got a sort of a unique number basically. I deviated from the instructions more or less straight away because that's the kind of impatient person I am, and I like to get big subcomponents built up first. Most of the sanding in this kit was of course with the fuel tank and the SRBs. That's not the fault of the kit. Anytime you've got 2 halves of a round structure, you're going to have quite a lot of sanding to do to make that nice and smooth. What I did do here as I put the 2 halves together was try to use the adjacent parts to clamp them into place, if you see what I mean. Although I did notice that this collar here, which is supposed to be slightly wider than the rest of the fuel tank, wasn't uniformly wider around its circumference. But there is our main fuel tank, all taped together. And then of course I did a very similar thing with the two SRBs. These are handed, but they do have quite distinct features. You just need to remember when you're following the instructions to make sure you've got the right one. I then moved on to the shuttle itself, and you can see here from the bottom of the wings, copyright Airfix Products, 1978. You do need to think carefully about the build sequence here, because we need to put the clear parts in for the windscreen prior to closing everything up. Airfix gives us this piece here to represent the cargo bay, and we can have the doors open to reveal the payload. Because I want mine in the launch position, I'm going to have those doors closed. However, I am still putting that piece in place just to provide some rigidity to the shuttle. We do need to paint the interior of the shuttle cockpit black and to put the glazing in place before we close up those cargo bay doors. It's a nice touch that the lower wing piece has these ridges for the side of the fuselage to go into place, and that really does help with getting everything aligned. You'll notice, however, that the underside where the front and the rear meet is not a very good fit, and we did need some filler around those parts. We do have the option to have the undercarriage down for the shuttle landing, but I want mine up because, of course, as I said, we're launching. To be honest, although the fit wasn't great, not too much filler was required, but you can see a couple of points there where it was needed. And after quite a few passes of primer and sanding, and then more primer and more sanding, and then more primer, I thought we were at a reasonable stage. Now, my attempt on this kit is by no means perfect. There's definitely room for improvement, but overall I was reasonably satisfied. One really nice feature is the included stand, which allows us to position the fuel tank and therefore the shuttle and the SRBs in a flying position, a takeoff position. Although if I was being pedantic, I would note that normally the shuttle does do a rollover and flies upside down essentially during launch or shortly after launch. We do get some external pipe work for the fuel tank, and this has to be positioned quite carefully, not just because it attaches to the shuttle, but because it actually holds the shuttle into position. There are holes in the bottom of the shuttle to attach to these connection points. Here we are with our cargo bay doors attached. And then it was time to move on to painting. As I say, Airfix do supply us with several pots of this number 100 paint, this reddy orange colour, for the fuel tank, plus a number of other pots. I'm sure these are perfectly good for brush painting, but I'm going to airbrush mine, so I mixed my own colours. The shuttle itself I primed in grey on the underside because that will be black, and white on the upper surfaces because that will be white. At this point it is worth looking at the instructions really carefully because there are some slight differences in the different versions of the shuttle, particularly the boundary between the black and the white at the front, at the nose. And in fact, the version I ultimately did, Atlantis, I haven't painted quite accurately to represent that. Nevertheless, I painted all of the underside and the leading edges in black, and then with some further masking, painted the leading edges of the wing in that grey colour. Now unfortunately my masking there is not particularly good and the edges look a little bit rough. However, Airfix's decals came to my rescue because they give us a wide range of decals to make up those black lines and so on around the wings. So ultimately the version I went for here is Atlantis, from 1998 to 2011, which would be the same for Discovery and Endeavour, apart from the shuttle name, of course. I almost didn't notice that these decals existed, and almost went to the trouble of masking off all these black areas myself. But luckily, I noticed them. And I think that looks significantly better. This is the fuel tank after my mix of Tamiya brown and yellow and red. We do have a few details to paint, and they were painted with Vallejo model colour. A little trick I like for painting parts like this, which are very close to but not touching the fuel tank, is just to slide something between them. In this case a piece of paper towel, but the little pieces of paper that come on decal sheets are quite good for this as well. And then you can paint without fear of touching the main subject. We do get a few decals to go on both the external fuel tank and the SRBs. I didn't film much of that because it's quite hard to apply the decals while holding the fuel tanks and the rockets in place, because of course they want to roll away from you. However, this is the external fuel tank after applying its decals, and it just needs a matte varnish now. And here are the decals that need applying to the SRB. Notice we have several of the red and orange stripes that go around. The black stripes don't come as decals, so we either have to paint those or just ignore them. I decided my ability to get really crisp lines all the way around the rockets was not there, and so I decided not to paint them rather than to mess it up. Yeah, I wimped out, but hey, it's all good. I think, to be honest, one of those marker pens might have been a good choice for this. With all that done, I could give everything a coat of matte varnish, connect the fuel tank to the shuttle and the SRBs to the fuel tank, and then we are ready for takeoff.
Houston, Atlantis is in a roll. Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Houston is now controlling. The roll maneuver is complete. Atlantis is in a heads-down position on course for a 51.6 degree, 136 by 36 statute mile orbit. The three main engines on Atlantis have now been throttled down to 72% of rated thrust as the orbiter prepares to pass through the area of maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle in the lower atmosphere. The engine's now beginning to throttle back up.
Atlantis, you are go at throttle up.
Copy, go at throttle up.
Well, there we go, guys. That was my build of the Airfix Shuttle, external fuel tank and SRBs. I hope you enjoyed the video. I did enjoy building this, and I am quite happy with the final result, even though it's perhaps not got the refinement of a more modern kit. I do particularly like the stand and the pose here of the model. Having built this, I am really looking forward to the Artemis II kit, which is a much more modern 2025 tooling. I would like to say thank you to all of you for watching. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members for their ongoing support of my channel. I hope to see all of you in an upcoming video, and until then, thank you again for watching and have fun modelling.